I would put to you, you need to ask yourself as a business 3 questions. So the 3 questions are, how do I sell to and serve my customers? And how could I do that differently if I make a new assumption, which is the connectedness of the world? I'll give you an example, just an extrapolated example. So imagine you were selling a product that required you to make visits to people's homes to sell it. Just imagine that was the case. Or not even to people's homes, just you had people out in the road. Many of you will work in organizations that have field sales forces. And in order for you to do the numbers that you need to do, you need to employ 10 salespeople because they've got to do 4 calls a day, and you work up the numbers, and that's the way it works. Is it possible that a part of what you do today by physically visiting the customer could be done for some of your customers with video, contact center through video, followed up by some sort of a field engagement? Possibly. Possibly. Take another example. What can I do now that I couldn't do previously? So think of the things that you don't do in your organization today that you now can do, but you don't do it because you haven't thought about it. So if you think of the concept of networking with the rest of your company as being a barrier and remove that as a barrier, what are the types of things that you would do? Or indeed, what are the things that you do today that you no longer need to do? A classic example of that is the infrastructures that people persist out in their organizations, which have large pieces of technology out in branch operations. And I'm sure many of you who run organizations today have organizations, or have parts of your organization where they have distributed technology. It's costing you a fortune, absolutely costing you a fortune. And it doesn't need to anymore, because it can all be centralized and pushed out. So these are 3 questions that you need to ask yourself. Now the problem when you ask yourself these questions, and I keep hitting that button, don't I? The problem when you ask yourself these questions is there are classic answers in your organizations to all these questions, because you've built organizations that are designed to resist these types of things. So you ask these questions, first answer is I can't. Right? I can't. Now I can't normally means I don't want to, or I don't know how to. Right, both valid answers, but most people will say I can't when those are actually the answers. Second one is it'll take too long. It wouldn't be worth it. If we tried to do that, it would just take too long. So again, that's normally another parallel for I don't know how to, or I really don't want to. Or the best one of all, and in the IT world, this is the killer. Absolute killer, and you can kill any project stone dead. If there's any IT people in the room and you want to kill an initiative stone dead, this is the answer. It'll be a security risk. Dead. Everyone nods sagely, walks away from the problem, satisfied that that's just impossible, so we're not going to do it. Now, the problem you have is we've constructed our organizations, and for us with traditional organizations, we've built organizations because this used to be a strength. This was a strength of the organizations that we built. Right, legacy. It was a barrier to entry for other people because we'd built systems and processes that were expensive. And people would have to replicate them if they wanted to do what we do. What's happened here is, you'll see the sketch there, and if any of you are Escher fans, you'll notice that it's his depiction of the Tower of Babel. And that's what we've built. We've built a technology Tower of Babel. And to refresh those of you who haven't read your Bible recently, Babel was a tower that people who spoke one language built, and God cursed them and made them all speak different languages. So they just stopped building the tower and they went off and left it behind. That's what we've built. We've built a technology Tower of Babel because our customers speak their own language. And if you look at what's happening in the world, our customers are utterly changing. They're still enduring us as legacy organizations because we still have some value to add to them. But in many instances, they're just putting up with us because they've moved on and moved on substantially. They speak a completely different language to our business process people. And if anyone runs an organization of any scale, we all have business process people. The business process people have just about worked out how to talk to the application people, but they speak a completely different language. And they speak a different language to the infrastructure that runs on. And again, the people in the networking world speak a completely different language to everybody else. So the challenge we have as businesses is the fundamental change that's taken place is in people's ability to connect at the bottom. The people who have changed the most are our customers. And we've got an entire organization that's built to stop those two things working together. That's a massive challenge for us. And I'm not saying it's a massive challenge for you. It's a massive challenge for us in our organization because we're dealing with this.